Pinchas. Parshas Pinchas. You can sit over here also. Sit. Okay, over there. Parshat Pinchas. Pinchas saved the day. This is Lakuti Sichas Daled. A sicha that the Rebbe said in 1958. Pinchas. Who was Pinchas? Pinchas was a Jew. He was the head of a tribe. And he stood up and he killed two people. Killed two people. And one of them was another head of a big tribe of Shimon. And another one was the princess of the Midianites. Princess. Moabites, Midianites. And he killed them both and lifted them up on his spear and paraded it around with them. And on that day there were 10 amazing miracles that happened. That first of all, he was able to stab them exactly in that place and to lift them up, and the tremendous strength took. He wasn't a particularly strong person. He was from the family of Kohanim. And because of that, he wasn't officially a Kohen. Until after this, then God made him a Kohen. So let's look and see. Betchilas Parshas Pinchas, it says, Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aaron Kohen, Yeshivat Chamoti, Bekano et Kinoti. And see, what happened is that the Jews had just been blessed by Bilam. Bilam tried to make big curses for the Jews. And all the curses turned into big blessings. So Bilam said, but listen, he said to his boss, Balak, he said, but listen, I'm going to tell you what to do. The Jews have this big desire for women, Jews. And God of the Jews hates licentiousness. He hates, it's called Zima. So tell all the daughters, the girls of Moab, the leaders of Moab, to take their daughters, dress them up like all prostitutes, and send them to the Jews. And the Jewish men are going to go crazy over them.
Now, how many of his daughters actually disagreed to do this?
None of them.
None of them?
No. It was a big. It was like the Germans agreed with Hitler. Everybody just loved him. They just loved him. Wonderful idea.
Oh, you want us to sell our bodies to the Jews?
The main thing is not that they did that, but also, number one, that it worked. And not only did it work, but each one of them wore a little idol around their neck. And they said to these Jewish men, if you want to be with me, then worship this little idol. And what was the idol? The idol was an idol called Pa'or, Baal Pa'or. That the way people worshipped it was they went to the bathroom in front of it. They defecated in front of this idol. So this is like weird on top of weird on top of weird. But you see that Jews are willing to do that. Jews like that stuff. Weird stuff. Here, the Jews, God gave the Torah. Everybody heard, all the Jews heard, don't worship idols. They heard the second commandment. Don't worship idols. You have to worship only the God who creates the world and took the Jews out of Egypt. And everybody said, okay, Nasev and Ishmael, we'll do whatever you say, God. And 40 days later, they all participated one way or another, either actively or passively, in the worship of the golden calf. To the point that God wanted to wipe everybody out, the whole entire. Because Jews have a big potential for good, but they also have a big potential for you-know-what. And here it is. Here, Bilam had just transformed all of the possible curses into blessings, and the Jews have been blessed with these amazing blessings. And right after that, all of a sudden they go running after these ladies, non-Jewish ladies. It's forbidden for a Jewish man to have relations with a woman outside of wedlock, but for a non-Jewish woman, it's forbidden all the time. And the Jews knew it, and not only that, the non-Jewish women, they said, okay, if you want to be with me, then you have to worship this idol. So, these Jews knew what happened when you worship idols. God got very mad at the Jews when they worshipped the golden calf. So you figure the Jews would say for one second, worshipping idols.
This is a bad idea.
Huh? Yeah, maybe this is a bad idea. Worshipping idols, maybe I've gone a little bit too far over here.
Half of us already died.
Yeah, after all, this is just a girl. You can get women all the time. And they were probably married, these men. So all of a sudden, this tremendous day, they had to have this lady at this time. All of a sudden, and it was worth it to worship idols in order to get to her. It's a total insanity. So, nevertheless, they did it, and Moshe told everybody to stop. You have to stop. And Zimri, who was the leader of the tribe of Shimon, of the tribe of Shimon, he took one of these Midianite women, and he had relations with her in public, and nobody knew what to do. They didn't know what the law was. Moshe forgot the law. So Pinchas jumped in, and he speared them both and held them both up on the spear, and he speared them in that place of the anatomy that they were doing the sin with, and held them up and ran around with them and all sorts of weird things. And God said, Pinchas, you saved the whole Jewish people. As it was, 24,000 people died. It was a big plague. So it says, Lochen, therefore, hineni noten et briti shalom. I give him the covenant of peace. HaKodesh Baruch Hu, God, natan kahunat olam, he gave eternal priesthood, lo ulazar acharav. He made him into a priest. Av shekuna kavar nidna kodem lachein. Even though that the law had already been determined that the only people that could be Kohens, could be priests in the Holy Temple, were from the seed of Aaron and anyone that came after him. It was only given to Aaron, Moshe's brother, and Aaron's sons that were anointed with him. And also for the children that were born after they were anointed. But Pinchas, he was born beforehand, and he wasn't anointed together with Aaron, so he missed out. That's the law. Therefore, he did not merit to be a Kohen. Right? It's like being given the shofar to sound the shofar a week after Rosh Hashanah. It's just not a mitzvah. You can sound the shofar as much as you want to, but there's no commandment. And all of a sudden here it says, God's like saying, okay, you know what? I'll move Rosh Hashanah for you. You can sound the shofar. Can't do that. Well, that's what he did with Zimri. He said, listen, you weren't born to be a Kohen, and only people that were born a Kohen can be Kohen, but I'm going to make an exception for you. You're a Kohen even though you weren't born one. Why? Because you killed this sinner. Tzorech Lavan, says the Rebbe, and what is the blessing that he gets? Peace. A blessing of peace. After killing somebody. What are we supposed to learn from this? Everybody just take the law into your own hands. You go into the kitchen and get a knife. What is it? What's talking? Just start stabbing anybody you think is not, keeping Shabbos the way you like, or, doesn't pray properly, or something, talks in the middle of davening.
That just sounds like democracy.
It sounds a little bit weird. So let's see. Tzorech Lav, we have to understand. Tomurat avodah enikim schar. In order, if a person does a job, so he gets a reward. And the more difficult and valuable is the service, his reward is greater, right? A brain surgeon earns more money than a janitor. A janitor's work is very important. I'm not saying it's not important. It certainly is important. In some ways, it can be even better than the brain surgeon. Could be. He makes the place clean. He talks to people, says nice words to the patients, and it could be the brain surgeon is a really nasty, not nice people. But and the brain surgeon gets more money. Why? Because he does very, very special, difficult, valuable work. He really saves people's lives. Can't but to be a Kohen. This is not a thing of reward. This is nature. Teva, Aaron above. It's the nature of Aaron and his sons. When God commanded to anoint Aaron and his sons, he separated them from all the rest of the Jews. And he made them holy. Like it says, V'yavdil Aaron l'haktisho kodesh kodeshim hu banav ad olam. That God made Aaron and his sons holy forever. If so, when they became holy, it's like, they're trying to do it in America, but a person who's born a man is a man. A woman is a woman. A cat is a cat. A dog is a dog. That's just the way that God makes things. God said, Kohanim are only people that are born from Kohanim, that come from Aaron and his sons. Zimri did not come, Pinchas did not come from Aaron. Anyone who did not come from Aaron and his sons, ein avoda mo'ila lahem. No service in the world will help. Liot Kohanim, to be Kohanim. Shekain kohuna hu davar shakodesh baruch hu hitpia teva abriya. Because Kohen is something that God put into the creation. Aaron and his sons, they are holy in their nature. That's it. It's like a Jew cannot become a Jew cannot become a non-Jew, and a non-Jew cannot become a Jew. Right? Converts is that converts are people that their souls were Jewish souls. They were just put in a non-Jewish body. When they go through the process of converting, then it makes their body a proper receptacle for their souls.
So what if someone came from an all-Christian house and then decided to become Jewish? What's that?
That means that it doesn't make any difference. It means that his soul told him, listen, we're talking about a genuine Jew. We're not talking about a Jew. He fell in love with some beautiful lady or something, or he wants to be a basketball player. So they make him. A genuine Jew, a Jew is a soul thing. Is a soul thing. You get this soul. The soul thing means that you're willing to sacrifice your life for God. Every Jew is willing to sacrifice. You don't see it. Why don't you see it? It's hidden. If a person is born from a Jewish mother, the Torah tells us that he has this soul that is willing to give his whole life, so that soul will not be enclosed in a body that did a sin, that went against God. He's willing to give his life. Every single Jew. Listen, the rabbis tell us that this is true. We don't see it so obviously. But it used to be in the previous generations that it was a more obvious thing than now. It used to be in the previous generations. Now, there's all this confusion going on, so people don't know. But nevertheless, that's what a Jew is. A person that he converts, when he converts, the rabbis are supposed to tell him, listen, if you convert, you're only going to have trouble. Now you can do whatever you want to on Shabbos. If you convert, you smoke a cigarette on Shabbos, the punishment is death. And the punishment, too, there hasn't been any death penalty 40 years before the temple was destroyed. There was no death penalty. About 2,000 years, there's not been a death penalty. So, okay, there hasn't been, but still, the fact is that God is very, very displeased. Right? God is very, very displeased with the person. Now, if you're a non-Jew and you smoke a cigarette on Shabbos, God is not displeased. Nothing wrong with that. Right? If you're a non-Jew, you can eat any type of food you want to, except a limb from a living animal, taken from a living animal. Any food you want to, you can eat. A Jew? No way. A Jew can't even boil milk and meat together. Boil it. Yeah, for sure you can't eat it. If it was boiled, that's a terrible sin. Doesn't make any sense. So that's what they tell a convert. A convert is told, right? It's not worthwhile for you to be. And not only that, people are going to hate you. You're going to be hated by everybody. Right? Everybody hates the Jews. Look at the United Nations. Everybody hates us. Right? And they call it against Israel. Even the Jews hate the Jews. Because the Jews, it's supposed to be that a person wants to convert for self-sacrifice. He's giving himself away. He doesn't care anything about himself. He only wants the truth. That's what it's supposed to be. Says the Rebbe, so therefore, what am I trying to say? This is not a class on conversion, but the class is talking about once a person is a non-Jew, he can never be a Jew. A person is a Jew, he can never be a non-Jew, right? If a person is a non-Jew, he can't be a Jew unless he goes through the proper process. And that's according to halacha, that's according to the Torah. It shows that he had a Jewish soul all the time, that he wanted to do that. A cat can't be a dog. A dog can't be a cat. You can shecht a cat, slaughter it, ritual slaughter as much as you want, it's not going to be kosher. A cow you can make kosher. If you slaughter it properly, it can be kosher. That's the law. The things that are in the Torah, that's a law. You can't make exceptions because you want to, right? There was the whole reform and conservative movement said Judaism is constantly developing, it's dynamic. So therefore, we're going to make changes. You can't do that. Only certain people can make changes, and the changes are not in changes in basic things according to the Torah. You have to know how and what to do. One of the things that cannot be changed is who is a Kohen. A Kohen is a person that descends directly from Aaron and his sons. Anyone who comes directly from Aaron, actually from Aaron. Anyone who doesn't come, he can't be a Kohen. How can it be that he'll be a Kohen? Okay, let's see. Kafisha Rashi Omer, like Rashi says in the end of the Kohen, Shkashem Sheyefshar, just like it's impossible to change morning to evening, when Korach made a war against Veshum Pula, and nothing that you do can possibly negate the fact that day is day and night is night. Mishum Shekachu Agvulas, because this is how God made the world. Teva Abriya, it's part of the creation. Kach Yefshar, it is possible to negate the Kohanim, the priesthood of Aaron. That's what Korach wanted to do a few weeks ago. Like it says, Vayi Erev, Vayi Boker, Vayavdil, that God separated evening from morning. Same thing. If so, move on. So now it's really not understood. How can it be that Pinchas on his own was not a Kohen? How could it be that he became a Kohen by means of Kinot Kinosi, that he took over the jealousy of God, the anger of God, Tachat Asher Kinot, and therefore God made him a Kohen? How can it possibly be? As we're going to talk about in a minute.